RMJ Movie Reviews back again, everybody. And I decided I'm going to do like a string of hardcore cop dramas, cop thrillers, whatever you want to call them. And do some little scene movies that some of my subscribers may not have seen before. The first movie I wanted to review is a classic from 1990 called Q&A, starring Nick Nolte, Armand Assante, and Timothy Hutton. This movie's fantastic, y'all. It's also directed by Sidney Lumet, who directed Dog Day Afternoon, Serpico, all those classic kind of cop 70s movies and dramas from back in the day. Q&A is fantastic. This is such a criminally underrated movie. Q&A tells the story of Nick Nolte is a lieutenant in the NYPD Blue, and Timothy Hutton is an assistant district attorney who's basically called in by the chief of homicide to investigate Nick Nolte to see if, well, really, he's meant to just get a document for the courts about this shooting that happened between the lieutenant, Nick Nolte, and a known scumbag. Now, you find out throughout the course of the movie that obviously Nick Nolte murdered this known scumbag, because the movie opens up right and you can see that he obviously killed the guy. Timothy Hutton doesn't know that, but he's not even really meant to really investigate this thoroughly. He's called in by the chief of homicide because Nick Nolte is his boy, and he's really meant to just take Nick Nolte's word for it, have a document for the court, and Nick Nolte is supposed to get off. But of course, as the movie goes along, Timothy Hutton is bright-eyed, he's green, and he finds a string of corruption that goes all the way to the top of the legal food chain, and things aren't always what they appear. This movie is just so hardcore and gritty and down and dirty. Now, another thing I want to keep in mind is that this movie is completely dialogue-driven, okay? And it's from 1990, so some of the technology is a little bit behind. And also, this movie is shot very old-fashioned. The camera angle, it's actually even almost shot like a play. Like, you'll see shots where there's like 6 or 7 actors in a room at one time and everybody is speaking. Nobody gets all these fancy close-ups. They're wide, nice angles, and everybody gets their time to perform. People stand up. It's performed just like a play. And this movie also does not shy away on the colorful language. Whatever race you are, if you think Quentin Tarantino was bad in True Romance and Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, no. You haven't seen Q&A. Trust me, whatever race, sexuality, whatever your preference is, however you look, whatever your background is, you will be insulted in this movie. It's fantastic. The bigotry in this movie is it's beautiful in how disgusting it's presented. It's a trip, y'all, for those who haven't seen it. I forgot to mention Armand Assante also plays a drug dealer who was actually at this club when Nick Nolte murdered this known scumbag. And Armand Assante is just the epitome of when you have a character who is presumably supposed to be bad, but he's really a guy that you like. He plays a character named Bobby Texador, and like Bobby is like, he's a tough guy and he gets vicious when he has to, but really at his core you can see he's a cool dude, and Bobby is a guy you'd like to sit down with. Timothy Hutton's character is I like Timothy Hutton in this movie. I know kind of reviewers complained about him, felt he was out of place. I didn't feel that way. I thought he fit the part perfectly. Nick Nolte is, Lord have mercy. We thought Denzel was good. We thought Kurt Russell, Keanu Reeves, Richard Gere in Internal Affairs. No. Nick Nolte is depraved. He's disgusting. He's funny. He's racist. He's violent. He is a scary. He's frightening. I mean, Richard Gere was frightening in Internal Affairs, and Denzel was frightening to an extent in Training Day up until the last half of the movie. But Nick Nolte is absolutely, utterly terrifying in this movie, and I cannot recommend Q&A enough. It is a criminally underrated movie. I know it wasn't a box office hit when it came out, But guys, please check out Q&A. And I want to keep in mind that this movie is very, 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 very down and dirty. So, you know, you get a lot of stuff with cross-dressers and gays. And this movie covers every aspect of any community. You know, and it's very down and dirty and it's very raw. I think in the pantheon of kind of crime dramas and gangster movies, I wish Q&A would get more appreciation. I actually showed it to a couple of my friends who had never heard of it before or seen it. And they called me back and was like, oh man, that movie was raw, man. It was raw. I'm like, I know, it's crazy, man. But you really got to check out Q&A. Slight negatives. The movie's a little bit too long. It's 2 hours and 10 minutes, and there definitely are some scenes that they could have trimmed and taken out. I know Sidney Lumet's daughter is actually in the film. Timothy Hutton used to date Bobby Texador's girlfriend, which is played by Sidney Lumet's daughter, and she's okay. I mean, a lot of people really hated her, but I think she's all right. I think the storyline between Timothy Hutton and Bobby Texador and I forget her name already, the ex-girlfriend or whatever, I wasn't as interested as I was in everybody else's story in the movie. But this is an ensemble cast. You got Charles Dutton, Luis Guzman, man, there is a slew of character actors that you've seen in King of New. You've seen all these guys before. You guys just have to watch it. You'll recognize all the actors because every actor in this movie has played an Italian gangster, a Puerto Rican gangster, a black gangster. I mean, this is just in the pantheon of classic cop dramas. You know what I mean? So really, guys, I might, for any of my subscribers who might have seen Q&A from 1990 with Nick Nolte, please give this movie a shot. Give it its respect. If you can, if it's first-time viewers of the movie, put some comments down in the comment section and let's talk about Q&A. You know, talk about the things that